watching the Skechers Greenbrier Tipoff. Welcome to White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, in the foothills of the Allegheny Mountains, inside beautiful Greenbrier Resort. Tonight, the 15th ranked team in the country, the Duke Blue Devils, will face 3-0 West Virginia, receiving votes in the top 25. And we are ready to go here inside Colonial Hall. 1,200 seat capacity. It was sold out within 24 hours of the tickets being available. We're in the southern part of West Virginia, and lots of fans down here for the Mountaineers filling the stands. Duke with the first possession of the game.
Brendan, one of the things you're going to see for the Mountaineers is known for their defense. They run man-to-man, but also check out this matchup 2-3 zone.
Shot clock under 10 as the steal, and that's what the Mountaineers do. They force a lot of turnover as we take a look at tonight's starting lineup. Brought to you by Skechers for West Virginia. They start Harrison, Sydney Shaw. Those are the only two returning starters from last year. Gia Cook, a transfer from Houston, making a lot of waves, as well as Wheeler. And all the way to the hoop, Jordan Harrison, an all Big 12 performer as we look at Duke's starting lineup, brought to you by Skechers. A little bit of a change in the lineup tonight as Delaney Thomas is starting in place of Jaden Donovan, as that's who gets the first basket of the game. Thomas hitting the elbow jumper. Both teams so well known for their defense. The kick out to Gia Cook. And here comes Duke Fournier with the basketball. Ashlyn Jackson, all ACC second team last year. Mayer, the leader of this team at the point guard, scores the first basket for Duke. Gia Cook out top. Shot clock at 8. Sydney Shaw has been so good in their first 3 games. The high arcing shot from Mimi. 25 win seasons, each of his first 2 years in Morgantown. They lost in the second round of the NCAA tournament last year and ended the season ranked 21st in the country. Fournier at the rim, and she is fouled by Wheeler and will go to the free throw line. Kara Lawson in her 6th season at Duke. Just named the U.S. national team coach through 2028, going for win number 100 tonight at Duke. Jaden Donovan checks in for Delaney Thomas. And a travel, West Virginia to do what they like to do, and that's pick up full court.
And you'll see it the entire time. Sometimes you'll see denial, but you'll see a jump defense anytime. But Mayer, that's how you break it down, Brenda. West Virginia wants to limit the shot selection, so get on those defensive boards so they can get out in transition.
Easy pass inside, and Wheeler just muscles it up inside.
You see a lot of different actions from Duke, but they are such length. They have 9 players over 6 feet tall, and with Robertson, she could hit that mid-range.
Those two make a huge difference for Duke when they step on the court. Shaw pulls up, rims in and out, and Robertson.
We're thinking about going up against that 6'4" in the middle of inside.
This is Emily Skinner. Kara Lawson's already said she is the greatest passer to play at Duke during her time. And we are very close to the court here, and we just saw some of the results of being here in the ballroom because Woodley came crashing into our vantage point here on the side of the court. Watch how Woodley goes after it, and our announce table is so close, and Woodley hits her head on the floor. Harrison draws the foul from Skinner. Both are also available on the all-new ESPN app, so you can watch it anywhere. A player that has meant so much to this program, all Big 12 third team last year. She actually came over to West Virginia with Mark Kellogg from Stephen F. Austin. And so much on her shoulders this year for the Mountaineers. Mayer not stopped. She goes all the way to the rim again. Robertson can't get her hands on the basketball, and here comes Jordan Harrison. Harrison dishes it off to Cook, and the score at the rim for the Mountaineers.
A nice little textbook 2-on-1, but look at what the Mountaineers do right away. They immediately turn around and face guard you trying to set up that press.
Good look from Robertson.
Look at the mismatches here.
And a nice backdoor cut from Cook, and she is fouled. Gia Cook, the transfer from Houston. She was the second leading scorer for Houston last year at 12 points a game.
Watching a lot more film, she really locked into that, so she knew where to be in the positions and just started playing a little bit more free in the last week or so.
Wow.
She can get up, too.
Robertson blocked. How about that? Carter McCray returns the favor and blocks the shot by Robertson, and they're going to say it's West Virginia basketball.
Well, that was an excellent steal, but even better. And she actually was limited in minutes there for a little bit to start the season, but really love her athleticism for West VU.
The swarming defense forces a turnover. Shot clock is off as we wind down to the end of the first quarter. Jordan Wood tries to go back over her shoulder. Robertson there keeps it alive. That time,
and Robertson, just so smart heads-up play to be able to tip the ball to herself.
5 seconds left in the first quarter. Cook steps back. Good cover up by Jordan Wood. Does she get it off in time? Short. And that's the way the first quarter will end. Number 15th ranked Duke. The entire facility is beautiful, so historic. It's been around since the 1700s. And just remarkable as we start the second quarter here in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. Duke leading 15-11, and we appreciate so much the hospitality of Holly Joe and everybody. Young Drew took me for a hike this morning around the entire facility, right through the hands of Jordan Thomas. Players on the floor. Duke somehow able to come away. They've got a 3-on-1. Beautiful pass. Donovan able to score at the rim. And already 6 in this game.
Well, even that pass right there that looked from Donovan, is that it was the right pass. They just kind of getting a little bit sped up, and that's what West Virginia will want you to do, just like right there in the open court.
Gia Cook gets in the passing lane all alone, too short, but a foul was called that will send Cook to the line. 14 of 16 on the season. She's 1 for 2 so far tonight.
They just talk about her athleticism, how she's able to put pressure on the rim, and she fits so well into that defensive system. Players want to come here to be able to grow into great defensive players.
Ashlyn Jackson, so tough with the basketball.
And they have to guard her on that three-point line.
Both teams with 9 turnovers right now.
You can feel the defensive intensity pick up for the Blue Devils on this end. They just have been contesting and rotating so well. But hey, a fadeaway jumper works on the baseline.
First field goal of the second quarter for West Virginia made by Gia Cook. From the corner, Nelson. Robertson was there for the rebound, but wasn't able to take it away this time. We talked about Sydney Shaw, number 5 for West Virginia in the open. She has not scored yet. She's 0 for 3 overall, as she has been defending well. As Gia Cook back at the free throw line, she makes the first. At noon Eastern, College Game Day crew will be there to start the day. Then 4th-ranked Alabama takes on 12th-ranked Oklahoma. And then Arch Manning and Texas square off against Georgia. Each is also available on the all-new ESPN app. What a day of college football coming up. Shot clock is winding down again. It has gone down a number of times here for the Mountaineers. And there's just so much length in the lane for Duke that it's hard for any paint points for West Virginia.
You mentioned that length, but also they're playing a little gap defense, so you don't have a lot of driving lanes. Looks good about the best off the bounce trying to get to the rim.
There off to Donovan. Too strong.
Both teams have been tremendous, like you see in their transition defense.
Shaw strips it away from Skinner, gets it out to Cook. And Cook has been the shining light for West Virginia.
And that's a tough corner pocket.
Donovan gets that one to fall.
And that's a good sign for
Sydney Shaw. Harrison tried to cut backdoor, but Mayer was all over. Harrison tucks it, has it blocked, and it will stay on this end. The officials actually came together and said it was Duke basketball. Robertson. Skinner. Nice move. No. So the Mountaineers have made it tough for shots in the paint, too, for Duke.
And in different ways, as we've noticed so far. But 10 seconds left. This could be a big game changer and momentum going to halftime.
6 seconds left in the quarter. Harrison trying to get a ball screen. Pulls up. Couple dribbles sideways. No. And just great defense by Jordan Wood. And now we're going to have a scuffle because Jordan Wood taunted Harrison after she blocked the shot. As we go back, and there's where Jordan Wood taunted first, and then the pushing and shoving started. The West Virginia players have all already left the ballroom.
So you're going to take a look at it here, and Jordan Wood in blue is going to block this shot, but then there's a little extra taunting right in the middle, and then the shoving.
What can you update us on as far as who's been ejected from the game and other punishments?
We have 6 players for West Virginia who have been ejected, and that is number 10, Jordan Harrison, who was in the scuffle, and then 5 players who were coming off the bench, which is number 1, Carter McRae, number 3, Gia Cook, number 4, Madison Parrish, number 22, Pierre Wheeler, and 23, Jordan Thomas. And for Duke, Jordan Wood has been ejected as well.
Sydney Shaw is available, Logan Johnson, as well as Riley Makalusky, Sydney Woodley, and Celia Riviere. You see the ejections on the screen, and primarily the reason that so many players for West Virginia were ejected was because they came off the bench. The only one that was involved in the scuffle was Jordan Harrison. As you look at the empty bench for West Virginia, they will have to play the rest of this game with 5 players. High-low into Riviere to draw West Virginia within 1. They have not had a lead in the game since they were up 5-4 in the early going. And West Virginia, has taken that first lead. Robertson, 8 points for Duke. Second quarter scoring was tough for West Virginia. 9 points from Cook, and she is one of the players that came off the bench late, and so she has been disqualified. Bench points in favor of Duke, 12-0.
We really had a competitive first half right there, but you see that Duke is going to start to use their length and their talent to their advantage. That was just an easy 30-foot entry pass into Tony Fournier. Back to the basket. She's going to score that every time.
Nice pass inside, and how about the inspiration from West Virginia after so many players disqualified from the game? There's no doubt about that. The foul was committed on number 2, Sydney Woodley, so now that's going to also become a factor here as we take a look at foul trouble potentially. 12 minutes per game for the first 3 games for the Mountaineers, but she had not yet checked into this game. She gets the lane violation, and Duke makes good on the second free throw. They go up by 1.
And this is exactly what you can expect from Duke, is that they're going to put on the full court pressure and try to wear down the West Virginia team.
Woodley with the basketball. Riviere, she's already scored 4 points here. And how about that? 6 straight points for the junior from Paris, France.
A nice little touch there over her shoulder on the hook shot.
Fournier calling for the basketball. And she dribbles the ball on the inline.
And this is going to be an interesting group of like, where does the ball go for West Virginia? Where are their strengths? You got to go back to the basics if you're the Mountaineers and go off of what you do best. And for Sydney Shaw, that is shooting the ball at any level.
Thomas to take an extra step, no call, and comes up short. And in this case, and this is what you expect, right, from West Virginia, they just walk the ball up the court.
They're walking the ball up the court, but after that last possession where they scored, they actually still picked up a full court press. So if you said that West Virginia loves to play defense and press you, they're even doing it with 5 players.
6 on the shot clock. Riviere with the basketball. Hands off to Sydney Shaw. Sydney Shaw rises up. And it bounces in. How about this? A 6-0 run. Thomas gets the ball at the free throw line. Riviere is fouled by Riley Nelson. Right before halftime, we had a scuffle, and we had most of the members of the West Virginia bench come off the bench. And so 6 players were disqualified from the game. There are only 5 players remaining for West Virginia. And all of the rest of the players that you see for West Virginia were disqualified because they came off the bench, but they now lead by 6 points. That shot was too long for Ashlyn Jackson. An offensive rebound. Skinner short. And remarkably, Duke comes out of the halftime locker room with only 1 player disqualified, but they seem more rattled than West Virginia right now.
And you mentioned it right there. It's going to take a little bit to settle into this game because it got so discombobulated at the end of that half.
And Celia Riviere has 7 points as Delaney Thomas goes to the bench for Duke. And Riviere makes the first free throw. Well, top 20 teams highlight Sunday afternoon's women's basketball schedule. 10th-ranked NC State hosts number 17 TCU at 1 Eastern on ESPN. Then on ESPN2, number 22 Louisville takes on Clemson at Little John Coliseum. You can always watch both on the all-new ESPN app. So Celia Riviere now with 8 points.
And for Duke, one of their advantages here is trying to attack West Virginia and try to get some fouls at some point at that 3-second call instead.
Jordan Harrison is typically the point guard for West Virginia. She was one of the players that was disqualified. So Sydney Shaw takes it in, attacks, and she is fouled by Jaden Donovan. She played for the Mountaineers last year as a junior, was one of the starters that returned a transfer from Auburn a couple of seasons before that. Shaw gets a deflection, 5 on the shot clock. Donovan rises up, still can't connect. Duke still not able to score.
Shaw's even doing it on the rebounding end, doing a little bit of everything for the Mountaineers.
Riviere back to Sydney Shaw.
West Virginia's mostly been running a 4-out, 1-in, but at the end of the shot clock, get the ball to Shaw.
Shot goes up and goes in for Makalusky, the 6'2 junior out of Fishers, Indiana. And that breaks the 11-0 run as Donovan,
as they go against WVU.
Inside, back out, nice inside out, and that's what Makalusky can do. She's shooting 38% from three-point range this year. It is just remarkable to me that Duke seems a little bit more frazzled right now than West Virginia, that has had 5 players available and 6 have been disqualified.
And that's when players can step up. Just like you mentioned, Makalusky, he's got a great 3-point shot, but when you're running 4 out and you're one of the only options, you got to take it.
And a foul committed. Jordan Thomas all came off the bench. Gia Cook was actually the leading scorer for West Virginia. Jordan Wood was also disqualified for Duke. But West Virginia, with just 5 players available, has now outscored Duke 22-6. Jackson tries to bump, and she does draw the foul. Ashlyn Jackson is at the line. We're going to keep an eye on the foul trouble for you because that's Celia Riviere's second foul. And we have heard from our officials consultant, Dee Cantner, who is the veteran official and has been communicating with us. If West Virginia does have a player foul out, you can continue on with 4 players. You can play all the way down to 2 players. It's just when you only have 1 player left and you can't inbound the ball that you would not be able to continue on. But as of right now, you saw the numbers. West Virginia is not in foul trouble because most of these players on the court didn't play in the first half.
It's a great time to get your playing time in and show what you're made of because they are playing with such intensity, drive, and focus for West Virginia.
Sydney Shaw steps back off the mark this time. Jackson with the basketball. Duke needs some energy here, and that's a beautiful pass down to Skinner, Emily Skinner.
They are great friends off the court, love playing together, and you see that kind of just reading each other, making great backdoor cut.
Riviere continues on here in the third quarter. Riviere now in double figures. Now this is when you hope that everybody was paying attention in the scout, right?
Yeah, everybody was ready when your number was called, for sure. This is like a big thing for coaches.
Jackson left all alone and is too strong. The shot clock is off as we wind down the third quarter of play. Sydney Shaw defended by Mayer. Shaw pulls up. Riviere pulls up from 3. Woodley tries to tip it in at the buzzer and not able to. And so only 5 players remain for the Mountaineers, and yet they outscored Duke 24-9 in the third quarter. So, Ann, you're Duke. You've had a chance to catch your breath now. They go to Fournier inside as she scores. What do you expect from Duke here as they bring? And so Jordan Wood was the player that had been taunting Jordan Harrison, and she pushed her.
Back to the basics, back to the fundamentals where you jump stop to make a pass. You start pump faking and trying to get the defense so you can make a good look at the basket.
Nelson driving in that zone. Robertson missing. And then a foul. And it puts Ariana Robertson at the free throw line. She was able to score 12 points and 6 rebounds against Norfolk State. After a year being out with a knee injury, she is back, and this is her second game. So we'll keep an eye on the foul trouble. I mean, who could have imagined this? When it took at least 15 to 20 minutes just to sort out all the disqualifications from the end of the second quarter. I mean, who would have thought that with just 5 players left, the Mountaineers could have this kind of an effort in the second half? Skinner too strong, and Delaney Thomas comes away with it, and they will call the foul. Oh no for West Virginia. That's on Riviere, and that's her 4th foul with double digits. But now she has 4 fouls.
And Duke's going to go right at her again and again.
West Virginia can play with 4 players, but she's been the most effective offensive player here in the second half for the Mountaineers. Along with Ann O'Neill, I'm Brenda Van Lingen. We're so glad we could be here with you for this historic game. As the shot clock winds down, Sydney Shaw.
You can see they're playing a little 2-3 defense against the offense. So Duke wants to try to attack the middle and attack any gaps as possible as the shot clock runs down.
4 seconds on the shot clock. Robertson turns, fires, no. Why aren't they taking it right at Riviere?
They were previously, that's where she got those fouls, but they're also mixing it up as well for the rebounds. They was able to get that defensive rebound. Riviere doing it on both sides.
You're just joining us. Only 5 players available for the Mountaineers as 6 players were disqualified after a scuffle at the end of the second quarter. Here's Riviere playing with 4 fouls, and she scores
And even how she was cautious on the screen, the on-ball screen, and also how she posted up. You can see they just talked about that in the timeout. But what a response by Duke.
Under 4 minutes to play. Sydney Shaw needs to hurry. Oh, no. She saw too late, and she gets called for the 10-second count. Has 5 players remaining. They have nobody on the bench, and they have been able to take control. They have outscored Duke 32-16, make that 32-19 here in the fourth quarter, and that is a huge shot for Ashlyn Jackson.
Well, that's how you get the momentum back, and then you get your defense set with Fournier.
And Fournier is fouled. So Fournier at the free throw line. And it rims in and out. She has struggled from the free throw line this year at 53%. And she misses both free throws. But Woodley and Thomas tie up. The possession arrow is in favor of Duke. Biggest lead for West Virginia was a 15-point advantage at the 4:33 mark. Duke has chipped away to make it a 10-point lead. Jackson splashes down another three-pointer, back-to-back three-pointers. Thomas into the passing lane, gets the steal. Jackson up ahead to Fournier. Fournier misses again. Shaw hounded by Mayer. Going to take their time, use as much of the shot clock as possible. It's down to 4. Shaw rises up, and it bounces over the backboard. For West Virginia, only 5 players available, and Riviere with 4 fouls. Number 37 has 4 fouls.
One of the strategies West Virginia did was they're moving her to the outside of the lane.
And Riviere comes up with a rebound after the wild shot from Ashlyn Jackson. And again, time is on the side of West Virginia. And Mark Kellogg shouting out from the sideline exactly what he wants to happen. 7th rebound for Riviere to go along with double-digit scoring.
Shaw and Riviere, the main ones with the ball, but here comes Nelson. Where's that Thomas?
And just ripped it away as Delaney Thomas.
And Riley Makalusky has been over there right by Coach Kellogg. She can hear everything of where they want that ball to go.
Shaw breaks, and she is held, so no time goes off the clock. And she has 2 free throws now. 5-point lead for the Mountaineers, who led by as many as 15. They were down by 3 at halftime when all those disqualifications happened. Shaw makes the free throw to push the lead to 6. Mayer pulls up. Got it. 4-point game. And a timeout called by Mark Kellogg so that West Virginia Mountaineers are inbounding it on the sideline. Have to get it in. They get it to Sydney Shaw, and she is fouled by Mayer. It will send Mark Kellogg clears off the lane. No Mountaineers on the lane. And Sydney Shaw, I have a feeling that her 6 teammates are back in some other ballroom here at the resort watching this game as she stretches the lead out to 6. The kick out. Thomas thought about it, gives it to Mayer, misses everything. And this crowd that is very pro-West Virginia here in the ballroom at the Greenbrier Resort are up. Mark Kellogg's family cheering on this gritty, gutsy Mountaineer team. As Sydney Shaw will have another chance to go to the free throw line. And Shaw makes another. The crowd is on their feet. What a remarkable game for West Virginia. 6 players were disqualified from this game. 5 players only were available here in the second half. And Sydney Shaw is 5 of her last 6 free throws. But Duke has to find a way to score quickly. Skinner, short. Scramble for the rebound. Riviere, who else? Riviere has been such a hero for West Virginia. Almost a double-double in the second half. Plays for extended period of time with 4 fouls, and Duke will concede. West Virginia, with 5 players available in the second half, beat the 15th ranked team in the country.
Absolutely phenomenal response through adversity, and you're hearing it right now.